The owner of the Mets, Jeff Wilpon, and he joins us now. Jeff, welcome. How are you?
Very good, Mike.
Jeff, tell me first, from before we get to the Mets stuff, tell me what is the what's the hard part of bringing an All-Star game to your stadium and to your city as the host team?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that Major League Baseball comes in. They have a great group of people under Tim Broslin that come in. They do this every year, and you have to relinquish control to them to allow them to do what they do year in, year out. We do it once every, 30 years now,
right.
Okay? So they come in, they know what the procedures are, and it's just a matter of working with them. A lot of people here, our staff is working overtime. Their staff is working overtime. It's hot. Everybody's getting tired, but I think everybody's getting really excited for tonight.
How much did the All-Star game mean what does it mean to a team? Does it mean a lot to a team?
I think it means a lot. I think it's a great way to show off our building, which we're very proud of. I think it allows our fans to come out and experience it in their home environment.
Now, you must be very excited not only to have David Wright in lineup, but to have Matt Harvey starting, to have one of your young
Has that been announced?
Yes, it has now been announced.
I didn't know.
Now
it's announced.
It's officially announced that
Excellent.
he is the starter. Now, that must be a big deal to have Matt Harvey starting the game.
It sure is. Not only for the people here, but the people watching on TV, to see Matt start and understand that this is a homegrown that has really risen to the occasion. David at third, the fans came out and voted for him and got him into the game where he should be. I think it's going to be great. And, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes triple digits on the first couple pitches.
The optimism you sense, now the team's played better. I think it's 17-11 in the last 28 games. When things look bad, they did turn around ever since that Cub game with the big rally, that unlikely rally on the weekend, which got things kind of turned around. Teams played a lot better. Plus, there's optimism building with all these young pitchers now. I kind of sense it, that people kind of feel that the franchise has turned the corner.
Well, I hope they're feeling that. We've seen it, and we saw the blueprint that Sandy and his staff have put out, that it's happening. And is it happening as quick as anybody wants? Obviously not. But I think we're seeing it, and I'm glad to hear that the fans are seeing it. I think Eric Young Jr. brought a lot of...
He did.
He brought a lot of intensity to the ball club, and that seems to be, you can look at that as a little turning point, or Father's Day, or just around that time.
When you look at this from a standpoint of the rest of the season, what do you want to see from your ball club the rest of the season?
I think we'd like to see the consistency that we've had the last 3-4 weeks. I think that would be a good thing to look for. And then, obviously, some of the younger kids keep producing and seeing if they're the keepers or they're not keepers.
Is it more important for you to win games? Now, let's forget pennant race. Let's just, is it important to get to 500, or is it more important for you to look at these youngsters, or do you have to do that in concert?
I think you got to do both. Sandy and Paul DePodesta and the rest of the staff have said it's important to teach guys how to win. We have the winningest record in baseball with our minor league system right now. So those kids are learning to win. When they come up here, they come up with some excitement, some vigor of wanting to win. Nobody wants to lose. And I think we're breeding a new type of Met right now.
There has been this a plan that I don't think that maybe I had heard about, that maybe the average fan hasn't, that there was this plan to develop this pitching inside this organization. Clearly that was the idea when these guys came aboard. And now we're seeing the fruits of that. Has it always been on track now that it's becoming public? Is it where you thought it would be? How would you say where that plan is from where you saw it in its infancy to where it is now? Is it on schedule from what you see?
Well, I think it's on schedule. 2 years ago, Paul DePodesta came to Sandy and myself and said, listen, we want to draft these guys starting in the 11th round to the 20th round, over slot, pay them a little extra money, get them before they go to college, and invest the money in those 10 guys. I can't give you the names right now, but
right.
that group of 10 pitchers basically is what's showing some fruits of the labor. Now, you can't predict that when you trade Beltran, you're going to get back Wheeler.
Right.
That fell into our collective laps in terms of doing a good job scouting and putting ourselves in that position. Same thing when you trade R.A. Dickey, who was very successful here, you'd be able to get a guy like Syndergaard put into that deal. Which, and don't overlook that Buck was in that deal. Buck has had good numbers for us, not lately, but he's got a lot of RBIs. He's hit some home runs. So those things sort of fell in, but we did think 2 years ago We were going to put a number of these pitchers in, not pay them $3-4 million as a first-round draft pick and only get one, but have 10 kids with plus arms, 94, 96 mile an hour fastballs coming out of high school, and instead of a college developing them, we develop them.
Yesterday, the Mets fan or whoever was here got a glimpse of some more of the talent, okay? Yeah. Syndergaard, Montero, these are names that you've been talking about for a while that maybe we've been talking about, the fans hadn't had a chance to see. Now they can put bodies and faces to the names. This group of pitchers, do you think it's 2014, or are we looking farther down the road for these guys?
I think the good thing is we got different guys that can come up during the next 3, 4, 5 years, okay? So, a guy like Syndergaard, he might not be next year. Montero might be next year. Syndergaard might be the middle of next year. Then you got Mazzoni, you got Yanoa, you got a bunch of other young kids who are coming along. And listen, some of them are not going to make it. Somebody's going to get hurt. Something's going to happen. Having a real stable of these guys, I think, is a great plan.